All right, so I'm going to go through here, work out my solution to problem 0. So I have, this was kind of a nice one. It's just a debugging exercise. Make it kind of difficult though sometimes. You had to figure out what other people were trying to do. Best part about this was we did not have to follow anything they'd done. We could have just implemented our own solution. So I go up here. I always run these same way. Execute every single line. And here are exercise 1. So we get a string named text. It could have 0 or more words. Word is a sequence of characters. 2 words are separated by 1 or more white spaces. Letters within a word may be uppercase or lowercase. Function will return a dictionary. Each key should be a word from text in all lowercase. The value of the number of times that word occurred. So if you gave it this is what it should get. Unfortunately, they didn't know what they were doing. So I look at the code they have. So they've got defined count words, text. First thing they want to split it every time it sees a space. Okay, but when I looked up here, it actually said everything had to be in lowercase. So when I did mine, that's the first thing I wanted to do. So let's go ahead and just convert to lowercase right away. Now, the next thing they did was they had a list of words with equal text split. Well, I'm going to use that. I'm going to use it exactly like it is. But before I do that, first thing I did was let's take the word and let's take it apart as words, but put it back together with spaces in between the words. And that's what this will do. We're going to split the text apart every time the words are split apart by spaces, and then rejoin them with a single space in between the words. So that's how I decided to do mine. And then I'll create my list of words from that. Now, the next thing is they have a dictionary. Okay, word dictionary, that's all fine. Then for every word in list words, I want to take word dictionary, have the word, and plus equal. This is a default dictionary, but they haven't imported it. So I go all the way to the top. I have to import it. So from collections, import default dictionary, which means down here, my word dictionary actually needs to be a default dictionary, and specifically of type int. And this way, when it goes to the words, it'll actually put them in. But first thing is, if the word is a blank word, if there's nothing there, then we're just going to continue. Else, go ahead, put it inside the dictionary. Now we have a default dictionary. I didn't see down here in the test where they're looking for it to be a regular dictionary or a default dictionary, but just one of the nice things to do is when you do that is let's go ahead and now convert to a regular dictionary. So we'll take our word dictionary, which is a default dictionary of type int, cast it into a standard dictionary, and then we'll return it. Of course, now I should be making sure I spelled everything correctly because it's so easy to make that kind of a mistake. Well, I spelled something wrong. Oh, I've got curly brackets. There. It's always easy to make something. Now we'll look. Yeah, they're all lowercase. Amazing 3 is 1. This is 1. Beautiful 1. World 1. Oh, it looks like it works, so we actually run it. And yeah, it passed. So I'll come down here to exercise 2. Exercise 2 is a little funky. It was a modified Fibonacci sequence. They give a bunch of rules here. So that if I is 1, here we go. We have all these little rules here. Let's see, calculates first 7 values. So no matter what, it's given 7 values. If A was 0, B is 1, then we want to get 0, 1, 1, 2, 5, 27, 734, because it's following this sequence, not the standard Fibonacci. Okay. So let's go down here and look what they gave us. And okay, so we've got generate numbers. That's the one that's going to be called. It creates a list of numbers. then I is in range of list. Okay, and this is where it took a while. A few people didn't catch this right away. I didn't catch it right away. It took my third pass through. List is a keyword. If you're using Java, you won't be allowed to use certain things. So first thing is, let's change that. We're say, I'm going to call it length, because that's how many times I want it to run. Which means down here I won't be using lists anymore. I could use length. But the other thing is I know I want to get 7 of them. So let's just do 1 through 8. So start at 1 or 1 through 8. And the reason why is it's going to pass I into Fibonacci. Well, I don't want it to get 0 because that's just going to waste our time. Second thing is I look here, n equals 0 gives t1. That's not true. It has to be more than 0. So that's incorrect input would be a 0. And 1 gets you t1, and 2 gets you t2. Then otherwise, this is correct. So 1 through 8. Let's add it onto the list. Numbers equals number, what? Oh, no. See, we have a list here. When I do this, I'm just going to round off. You can't do that. I need to end up with a list. Since I'm going to end up with a list, let me create a list. I'm going to round numbers now. I'm going to round each element inside of numbers. And now what it'll do is it'll round to 3 decimal places each element in numbers. Let's see. Let's see if this gives us the output we expect. 0, 1, 1, 2, 5, 27, 7, 34. That is what we expected. So actually run the test. It passed. Hidden test, I'll tell you, it did pass. Last one was Smart Trader. Now, this where I gotta be a little bit honest. I recognized this as the exact same question as we had in practice midterm, question 1.3.3. So, yeah. Said we can modify it however we want. Once I realized that's what this was, I just went in and grabbed that code and put it in. So our minimum price is going to be, I saw they wanted to use accumulate, so we'll use accumulate because that's what we had in that practice question. So what I want to do is I want to create a new list of minimum prices where it will iterate through prices and if it hits a new minimum, take that minimum, put it inside this list. So gains, the way I can create gains is this going to be a list of price minus loss for the price and loss in, and I want you to zip together the prices with the minimum price. So what it's going to do is it's going to create that list in minimum prices of what's the minimum price we've had so far. And it's going to zip matching them to the prices. Gains is going to be a list of possible gains we could have if we'd bought at a minimum price and then sold on another day. So our max gain, well, that's just going to be the max of our zero index plus the gains. And again, this is something we used in the previous exercise. You can find more of it there. And then just return max gains. And I'll be honest, when I did this one on the final, I even put a source that my source was practice midterm 1.3.3. Okay. If I debug it, oh, I have a problem. Max gains. I misspelled it. There we go. So max gain, I'll just call it max gain. Okay. It seems it worked because otherwise I didn't get the error telling me to check my solution. Run the big test cell, it ran. And now we have the tic-tac-toe board. So we're going to get a tic-tac-toe board. Nice thing is it's a size by size, so it's a square tic-tac-toe board, makes it nice and easy. And give me some things. Initialize board 3, and then the tuple 1, 1 should get me this. So let's look what we did. Row, okay, so it's going to be a list times size, okay. Board gets that row that many the size times. Well, that's what it's going to do is it's going to give me that exact same row. It's making a reference, and there's in C++ or C, we'd say it's like the memory pointer. It's going to point to the exact same row, and that's not what we want. We want 3 different rows. So let's get rid of these 2 lines because they could have a problem. And instead, I'm going to create my board. And then what I'm going to do is for I in range size, because that's how big my board is, what I want to do is add to my board, I want it to add a blank row equal to the size. So what it will do is it will run through the board the number of times it says size and add another list of the correct size. Now, A, position 0, B is position 1, because it's going to get a tuple handed to it, and wherever it sees it, put that X and return board. It says we can use this one to debug, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's call the method with the command they gave us. And in fact, we do get the correct output. So we run it, and it works. So that's how I did problem 0. That was my logic on these. It was a debugging exercise. Some of my answers weren't quite the same. I believe in this one, what I did in those lines of code, they did in 1 for the solution that was offered. I know my solution to this, to exercise 3, was very different. They actually used this code, which I thought worked, but is a bit of a pain. Now I can go over their solution. So blank out mine, comment it out. So if you're reading theirs, had some difficulty understanding what they did, we'll use that. So what they did, let's see, their minimum price, first of all, you did still need enter tools, import, accumulate. But all I did for minimum price was accumulated from prices the min. Then max profit, well, accumulated price is max. Thought something looked funny out of the corner of my eye. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm typing the wrong information here. Okay. That was, yeah. Let's see. Whew, thought something looked funny. There's their solution. So you put on the max of all the prices. That's the largest possible price. Max profit, they're going to say, well, let's start that off at 0. That right now we're going to assume the maximum profit is 0. Well, let's run through all the prices they give us. And if prices at the index is less than the minimum price, then our minimum price should be that location, because otherwise we have the wrong minimum price. So we start our minimum price at the maximum, and this way we'll replace it as we go. If price is at I minus the minimum price, well, if that is actually more than the max profit, so we've got a profit that's actually more than 0 for the first iteration, let's go ahead and make that maximum profit is equal to the prices minus the minimum price. And it'll iterate through the entire list until it returns a max profit. If we actually run this, it does work. Like I said, I recognize the question as being the same as we had in practice midterm. Probably one of the few times I used a short answer. Normally, my answer would have been more like the one they provided, but I just happened to recognize the question. So I hope that helped you out. I'm going to do more of these for every question, especially because my answers look very different. See you soon.